This science fiction disaster drama, directed by infamously ridiculous director Michael Bay, was released in July of 1998, and its $553 million take made it the highest-grossing film of that year. It opened just months after the remarkably similar Deep Impact, which many cite as the more scientifically accurate but perhaps less enjoyable of the two. The fantastically absurd film opens with a CGI sequence of the 6-mile-wide asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs, narrated by Charlton Heston's booming voice who warns, "It will happen again." Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck star as blue-collar oil drillers who were recruited by NASA to save mankind by rocketing to an incoming asteroid, landing on it, and destroying it with buried nukes, before it collides with our pale blue dot. Their above-average acting and pseudo-father-son relationship between the two drives the emotional aspect of this plot, which is rather decent considering. Ultimately though, the big-budget thrills, special effects, and mammoth action set-pieces is what attracts audiences. Best if not examined too closely, this plot is only as realistic and believable as it needs to be, keeping things light by distracting with some truly funny moments. As outlandish as the larger story is, the attention to detail is actually rather commendable, with many scenes shot on location at real astronaut training facilities. The cast even wears real NASA spacesuits, the only civilians to ever be given that privilege.
Drilling for some kind of metal I've never seen before. It's fried 2 of our drill bits and now we blew our first transmission.
So how deep are we?
We could use your help with the transmission, Colonel.
I have an assessment report due now. We're supposed to be at 200 feet, so how deep are we?
Not as deep as we'll be when you quit asking me all these questions and help us load this transmission on it.
What is our current depth?
Our current depth is not important, Colonel.
I'll decide what's important. We've got 800 feet to drill. You've had 2.5 hours. Where are we?
We're at 57 feet. Now, if you're not too busy, maybe you can give us a hand with this transmission. Colonel Sharp!
The impressively large cast features Billy Bob Thornton as the steadfast astronaut reject who is the only one who believes in Willis's crew, Peter Stormare as an eccentric cosmonaut full of ideas and energy, and Steve Buscemi as a hilariously suicidal, stir-crazy genius who would much prefer to die in space and avoid a gambling debt back on Earth. Liv Tyler, Will Patton, Keith David, Michael Clark Duncan, Owen Wilson, and William Fichtner round out the supporting roles, all of whom honestly do a rather great job with the material. Each and every one of them is given just enough screen time and background to truly flourish in their memorable characters. The lengthy montage of these ragtag losers failing every physical and psychological pre-flight test is especially amusing. Armageddon holds up surprisingly well. It's precisely what you'd expect from a doomsday Michael Bay picture, and it certainly delivers the goods. This is a non-stop, edge-of-your-seat adventure with terrific visuals, characters, and music. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who lived through '98 without knowing the chorus to Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. Even at 151 minutes, this film doesn't overstay its welcome, thanks largely in part to Bay's frantic editing, which features a cut every 1.5 seconds. His style certainly isn't for everyone though. Even as a pre-teen, I remember watching this picture with a sense of claustrophobia. Far too many sequences are shot entirely in extreme close-up, making a number of scenes disorienting when the action speeds up. Between the laughable premise, dozens of scientific inaccuracies, like fire in space, and a shoehorned romance subplot, this picture has plenty of faults. But when it works, everything else is easily forgotten. Ending with a truly spectacular and decently moving climax, this over-the-top thrill ride is a guilty pleasure I have no problem watching again and again. Armageddon, a preposterous story, but memorably thrilling. Now let's see what you had to say about this movie in the YouTube comments. The Rate-O-Matic with a double 8 for Armageddon. You were able to overlook the plot holes and pseudoscience and appreciate this film's superb visuals, cast, and action, ranking it a great. I agreed. Critically speaking, this film is really average, but from an enjoyment standpoint, it's hard not to be entertained from such a great all-star cast and incredible sequences. Plenty satisfying for all ages, I thought it was great as well.